Are you ready?
What's up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, shapes, and sizes, and wrestling fans of every walk of life? It is once again I, your pious pontificator of all things pro wrestling, the Daddy Dangly, the Dad Bod, Matt Knight, joined in the studio with Mr. Roadhouse and a very special guest, the NAWA television champion, reigning, defending, Mr. Dre White.
Yes, absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you for coming on, and I'm super excited to see the belt. Yeah, I got to help put it right there. Surprised me how heavy it was. So just jumping right in, how exactly did you end up getting into wrestling? Was it something that you enjoyed as a child, or was it more later on in life, or how did that happen?
I love wrestling as a child, you know what I mean? Growing up, seeing it on TV, and then demonstrating on my friends and my sisters at home and at school, you know, always getting in trouble for it. So I didn't know that it was a possibility that I could do it professionally, you know what I mean, and actually get paid to do it, you know, until the AML Wrestling School, they opened up in Winston-Salem, and I saw the first ad and went to the orientation. Mr. Number One, George South, he probably spoke about 5 or 10 minutes about wrestling, and the rest was about, you know, God and his path and his relationship. And it just felt like the right thing to do. I signed right up, and here I am right now.
And if I'm not mistaken, you are the only, if not the only, but one of the only OGs left from the AML Original Training School. Is that correct?
Yeah, I go periodically every now and again. I'm about to start in Beer City Bruisers class on Wednesdays.
Awesome.
But I want to be able to really commit to it and go every time that he has a session. But right now, the way my work schedule is, you know, I work right around the time that the training is get really going. You know what I mean? After all the warm up, stretching, and
right,
all that, you know. So I want to be able to commit.
Is Beer City Bruiser, is his class here local, close by?
Oh yes, sir. It's right on Cherry Street.
Okay, is that at the AML Performance Center?
Training Center, yeah.
Training Center as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just added in the Beer City Bruiser as one of the trainers, I believe, like 2 or 3 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. So have you've obviously then gotten to train a little bit with him? Is that correct?
I think I've been to a couple of them, sat in on a couple of his sessions and seen right at the beginning, right when my work schedule took me away from it, right when he came in.
So what's that been like?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing.
What's that?
Training with the Beer City Bruiser, opposed to, you know, I know that you started with George South, did the whole training with George South. What's like the comparison or the differences of training with George South opposed to the Beer City Bruiser?
What I want to say, the difference would probably be more cardio with Beer City. You get what I mean? He kind of what they call blow you up more. You know what I mean? It's a lot of bam, 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 bam. As far as George South, it's wrestling maneuvers, transitions, and things like that.
Kind of like more of a mental thing with George South, like you're learning, but it's more of on the mental side. Where Beer City Bruiser, it's like let's go one after the other kind of thing.
Well, it's you got to build your body up for this sport. You get what I mean? Like in-ring cardio and like going and running 5 miles isn't gonna get you in ring shape to be able to work a 20-minute match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard some of the OGs say that it's kind of like you build a callus up on your whole body.
Yeah, exactly. With Beer City, you going in there, you really hitting that mat a whole bunch of times. You know, running the ropes and getting that done like that. Cardio.
Absolutely.
Getting the cardio.
You know, looking at Beer City Bruiser, you don't think he's about cardio that much, though.
No, but I'll tell you, though, he did with that match with Jerry Lawler in this past AML. He is older, and he is now a little bit more broken down. But I'll tell you, cardio-wise, he's really impressed me since getting to see him more live. He has, been in this business for so long that it's it tears you down. So for him to still go out there, and in my opinion, nothing knocking Jerry the King Lawler, but he looked to be in better shape and looked cardio wise way better than Jerry. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, Jerry's not out there teaching seminars and classes and still doing the grind of it either. I'm sure Jerry keeps in ring shape, but he's also quite a lot older than Beer City Bruiser is. And it kind of showed in the match. It is what it is. People get older. It's
but he could. You can learn anything from a legend. You know what I mean? No matter how old he is, if he can get in there and show you something, it's worth the knowledge.
Yeah,
very valuable.
He can still call the match. He can still hit his spots.
I wrestle Jerry King Lawler. I don't care how old he is.
I know that's right.
I mean? Hey, that's a notch on the belt.
Mm-hmm.
I want to congratulate Swanton Pod on being the second and first ever in-person interview doing with the sensational Dre White, but the second podcast interview.
All right, so I do want to jump into training-wise. I know we've been talking about that. So after that first initial, hey, this is, the orientation, I believe you called it. Was it right after that, because I know you said you signed up, was it just immediately okay, this is the X amount of nights you have to be here?
Oh yeah, George, he starts right off his first session with us. Anyway, started learning how to properly bump. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then from there it was a lock up, grab a headlock. You know what I mean? And it's transitioning on from then on, and then you know what I mean. One move leads to the next, one step leads to the next, and just growing like that.
So I know that you already mentioned, being in ring shape. If you had to kind of give a timeline for that from day one of orientation up until what point were you okay, now I think I might be in ring shape, and were you at that point?
The only person that I probably could say is in ring shape is the guys that you see running 1,000 miles an hour for their whole, however long their match runs. You know what I mean? Those are guys that are in ring shape, quote unquote. But you never really get into in ring shape. I count the buildings that I throw up in. You know what I mean? After a match, you know what I mean? I done worked 2 or 3 matches, even at the Lenore, the bunkhouse stampede, I worked 3 times, but I was tired after the bunkhouse match and just out of breath, and didn't take time to rest in the first one, and we back there talking, you know what I mean, about the boot and everything, who gonna win and all this and all that, and who's gonna get to be able to hold it up, and everybody's just excited about that. Kind of the nerves and all that too, after being out of breath and all that, it's just overwhelming and comes at you all at once.
Almost like an adrenaline dump, right?
Exactly. It comes in and out at once, because on the way there, it's 2.5 hours. That's why I guess I met you guys at. I really didn't know that you was running a podcast and took the nice pictures that you guys did that night you were there. We right here in the same city, but met almost 2 hours away. You know what I mean?
I know, it's crazy.
That's what's crazy. So, on the road, eating, we assemble the ring and everything, and then break for lunch and more food, you know what I mean, and then to get out there and to do all the running, the physical activity, you know what I mean, and the nerves and everything else, and the heat, once your body
and it was warm
up.
It was warm in that.
Yeah,
it was real warm.
Well, it was chilly to start with, but then once everybody started to kind of pack in, and then y'all are, after that first couple of matches, man, I know y'all get hot in that ring, and it was just it was kind of rough in there. I came out of the jacket, and I'm usually a chilly person, so
we set the ring up, so that's all. That's
right.
That's 90% of the show right there. So then we already warmed up, and the stretching and working out before the doors open. it all
adds up.
It all adds up.
Well,
eventually.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually don't think we've ever asked this. Usually before like a match and doors open, obviously you have to get, your stretching and everything in. About how much time does, you getting stretched out, running the ropes a couple of times, whatever it may be before, doors open, what's that look like? Like, are you stretching, then running ropes, or how do you prepare?
Me personally, I just stretch. You know what I mean. You can never really prepare because you never know who's coming. You never know who's watching or what they want. You know what I mean. So me personally, I just stretch. Yeah, I'm always there early assembling the ring. So I just run the ropes just to make sure that they're safe. You know what I mean. For one, nobody's gonna fall out. They ain't gonna break when that 400-pound guy run full speed at it. You know what I mean?
Got it.
I know I'm a light, but right, exactly. But mechanically, we know how to assemble most of us know how to assemble the ring. To make it safe, and just get it in like that. Opposed to them other guys, I don't know what they do and how their routine is, but from what I see, they doing a lot of the just running real fast, and I can't do that and then come back and try to wrestle a guy for 20 more minutes. You know what I mean?
Well, and not to mention at the NAWA where you won the television title, you went how long in the bunkhouse match? It was a while.
I didn't see. I don't keep up with the time and all that. I'm just sitting really watching, getting hit at the same time. Like just eliminate these guys, kill each other already. You know what I mean? So I can take my opportunity to eliminate who I need to eliminate. You know what I mean? I was hoping they get those big guys out first, like Dump Truck and Big Nasty. I was definitely standing away from them. I know I probably didn't see both of them in the match, but probably once, because once they took something and hit me with it, you know what I mean, I'm rolling around to the other way. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to get hit. That stuff hurt. You know what I mean? I brought the horse and I set it on the outside of the ring and still ended up getting hit with it. You know what I mean? So.
And I'm glad you brought that up. So with the bunkhouse, it's come as you are, bring your weapon. It's basically a battle royal, rumble royal style. Throw over the top rope, you're eliminated. We saw some pretty cool weapons there, but I think that both of us agreed that the hobby horse was one of our favorite.
Yeah, it's something that I'd never seen utilized before. I wasn't a big fan of the Lysol gimmick and some of the other stuff that was in there, but that was unique enough, and you came out there with the cowboy hat gimmick on, really set it up for you winning that cowboy boot. But I want to go back to the pre-match stuff. Do you have a pre-match ritual that you have to do every time as kind of like a good luck charm?
Me, I just pray. I had my ankle broken in the ring, you know what I mean? So I just pray that everybody just stays whole for the most part that they can, and because I had to drive back home another 2-3 hours away, you know what I mean? Not knowing at the time that it's really broken, it's just really in pain, just hoping but then couldn't put any weight on it, you know what I mean? Just the next stop had to be the hospital. So
speaking on breaking your ankle, so first and foremost, when was that?
It was 2020. I want to say 2020. It ain't in front of me. I can't remember dates right off.
Yeah. No. Like just year wise, exactly. It's fine.
Yeah, about 2020, right around the pandemic time. Because I came back pretty quick. You know what I mean. And once I had this surgery, they put 3 or 4 pins in it. You know what I mean. And I did the rehab. What really had me motivated the most was I had to get back to work. You know what I mean. The money, that's why I pray, because the time that I sat on my couch nursing my ankle, I wasn't getting a paycheck. You know what I mean.
And make you do crazy things, won't it?
Exactly. And I was thankful enough that I had the money enough to still pay my rent, still all the streaming and everything, the bills that you have to pay, you know what I mean? And I was just fortunate enough to be able to handle all that without having any money coming in at all. So
Yeah, the bills don't really understand when
Well,
you get
exactly.
hurt.
And one thing I want our audience to understand is a lot of times you guys are doing this for pocket change, going to these independent shows. We had we had a conversation with another independent wrestler not too long ago. It was off the books, and one of the promotions was trying to get a larger name in to get some more notoriety, some more looks, some more people to come to the shows. And essentially what they would have to do in order to get some of these bigger names to come in is the guys like you who are working regularly aren't getting paid, so they can put the money in the pocket of the guy that they're getting ready to bring in.
Exactly.
And
I'm still paying dues right now. You know what I mean? It's the journey for me. Eventually, hopefully, you know what I mean. It'll evolve to something. You know what I mean? But right in the beginning, I was just I was happy to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all that, but. I feel like I have the knowledge and the training enough now, you know what I mean, to be compensated for what I do, especially after having my ankle broken in the ring by another a competitor or what have you, you know what I mean? And I didn't jump on Facebook and social media and start a GoFundMe, you know what I mean? I paid for it all myself, you know what I mean? I didn't put out a T-shirt or sell my memorabilia or anything like that I have, you know what I mean? That's why I say that's why I pray, make sure, like, even if I did, let me be able to be in a position to be able to overcome it.
Well, and that was kind of, in my opinion, hearing that when we were talking to this other wrestler, it kind of just blew my mind that, there are wrestlers out there, no matter how green you are, when you bring those bigger names in, to not make a dime on a show like that. Is that like the norm, or is that just like, depending on who you bring in type thing?
Well, the shows where I say where I wouldn't get paid was be one of the benefit shows where we know that the money is going back to whoever we doing the benefit for. A lot of those shows be wrestling with purpose, but he pay you before you get in the door. And in the beginning, I was just giving it back to him, just for the family and everything. But it's a little trip for me now, so I keep it, for my transportation to get back and forth. And I donate myself. I always make sure I find the person who we doing the benefit show for in that area of Pembroke, and make sure that I take care of them myself.
Absolutely. So,
well, they say, if you're good at something, you never do it for free. So, but that's one thing too that kind of griped me a little bit about the name that this promotion was trying to bring in, and the other guys not getting paid when they do stuff like this. This isn't even a big name. It's a name that pro wrestling fans are going to know, but your casual watcher on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is probably not going to recognize who this person is, and so that tells me they haven't really blown up to the point where they can do that. That's mistreatment of other talent,
right?
That I see. But so this person hasn't been off of the indies for very long, and now he's taking money out of the pockets of where he just was.
Right.
It blew our mind, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in a bubble. You know what I mean? Whatever everybody else got going on, I try to stay 10 feet away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not clicked up or any groups, so I don't know. George is. I'm mainly the matches that I get are at shows that he's on. You know what I mean? So the big shows that he does, I get on the show and they take care of me, you know what I mean? And it's
everything else just falls into place, right?
It just falls into place, yeah.
Well,
that's why I ride with, make sure I'm with the people who can make things happen all the time.
That's one thing that we were really appreciative to Michael Elliott when he invited us down to the NAWA show, is he treated us so well, and like we expected nothing except for just to sit in the audience, snap some pictures, and maybe talk to a couple guys and get their story. But he really did treat us very well when we got there. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Michael Elliott. From what I know, he's just a big stand-up human being, great guy, and he treats everybody very well.
Well, not only that, I think he is a hell of a promoter. Just looking at the one NAWA show that we've gotten to see, plus what's coming up.
Exactly.
Well, not only that, but also when the PWF shows that we went to, and he was booking those shows.
He was. He's no longer with them, but when he was with PWF, some of the best live shows that we were able to get were booked by Michael Elliott. So, have you known Michael Elliott for a while?
I've known him I've started right. NAWA was one of my first promotions that gave me a chance. At first it was that's where one of the ones I was setting up the ring, and that's Jason Freeman. He was running it at first, and he gave me the opportunity. That's one of the ones you showcasing. That's what you would do for free, paying your dues. You know what I mean? So I've been with NAWA from the beginning. Now Michael, he's taking over. You know what I mean? And he going with Dre White in the Sensational one. You know what I mean? And everybody need to, really, for real, because no matter where I go, no matter where I'm at, no matter what I do, you know what I mean? They're on it. You know what I mean? They're watching it. They love it, especially the kids. The kids make the parents come over and, hey, mama, come. I want his card. I want his sunshades. I want something. You know what I mean? I got this for you guys too. You know what I mean?
Is that a Pokemon card?
Not a Pokemon. It's what Superjaw had made.
Those are
little
awesome.
indie Superjaw game cards. I got about 1,000 of them, so I need to.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little frame and put it on the wall of excellence.
Yeah, you saw a wall of excellence, right?
Okay, yeah, here we go.
I might have to get.
It's going on there, buddy.
I had to get a signature on this before you.
I need
leave.
to get everything printed out and everything like that. I got it all. I do got some posters, but it's all just in envelopes. Just make sure it all stay
nice.
Yeah, exactly. I got a little. I could make a little pro wrestling museum. You know what I mean? Just from the gifts that I've gotten from like George, Teddy Long, and other big names. You know what I mean?
Teddy Long.
Oh yeah, that's my buddy.
So I was actually checking out Dre's Facebook earlier, and you got a lot of pictures with a lot of big names on there.
Oh yeah, and see my friends list.
And my wife kind of marked out on your list of accomplishments, and this might be one of your maybe lesser pat on the back ones, but the fact that you were in season 6 and 7 of One Tree Hill,
6 or 7.
Okay, so she kind of marked out about that because she watches that show over and
religiously
over and over.
It's just one of those little extra deals. That's why I feel like I haven't pursued the AEWs and the WWEs yet, because I don't want to just to be no extra. You know what I mean? I want a job. You know what I mean? No matter.
You want a job, not to do the job.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll do the job if it's a job to pay. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I don't want to just have a little extra spot when they come in locally. You know what I mean?
You want them to give you the call first.
Not give me a call and that like that. I will, when I'm in the position that I feel like they're not gonna tell me no, that I'm gonna get whatever I pursue them for. You know what I mean? You know how you survey and just learn the industry or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like I know it. I'm learning all aspects of the pro wrestling industry. You know what I mean? Not just the in-ring stuff that you see on TV, where everybody think that that's what you have to do to be successful in pro wrestling. You know what I mean? You gotta understand that my mentor and trainer been doing it for 40 years. You know what I mean? Been making a living and living his life, paying his bills, feeding his family, buying houses. These Air Jordans that I'm wearing right now, you know what I mean? And he been able to do that through pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Man, that's why I stick with him. He showed me how too for 40 years and all around North Carolina. That's one of the first things he told me too, and that told everybody actually in that orientation. The first week when he signed up, you know, after everybody did the name and the people who left and everybody stuck around, it's like, okay, welcome aboard. This is where we go. He said, well, I got a show this weekend that I'm doing. He said all the names are gonna be, it was like 3 big names that was gonna be there. You know what I mean? He said, well, you guys are welcome to come and help set up the ring, you know, and see how a show is put on. You know what I mean? It's give your first experience of how we do things. You know what I mean? And from that moment on, I just never stopped. You know what I mean? It was he had a whole entourage at first. You know what I mean? A whole bunch of guys, but they stopped. Yeah, exactly. Somewhere else gave him a title, and they was like, okay, George, now I know better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do it my way now. You know.
Well,
I want George's way.
Speaking of titles, you hold the NAWA TV title right now,
television title.
And,
you know what I mean?
And I may get a little heat from AJ Frost for this, but I don't really give a shit because we got a little heat anyway.
Oh,
we do.
So you listen loud and clear, AJ. I can't think of a better representative of a TV champion for the NAWA than Mr. Dre White. I watched him wear a lot of hats that night at that bunkhouse stampede from the start of the show to the finish of the show. He walked out carrying the belt. You see him right now. He's over the top. He's got his fur coat on, his sunglasses. The man was made to be on TV and represent a great pro wrestling promotion such as NAWA. He doesn't walk around cutting promos on the back by his shed on the back of his house,
Never.
talking junk to other talent about how great he is. He goes out in the ring and he says with what he does how great he is. He doesn't have to put out promos on Facebook all the time. He just does what he does, and he's good at it.
Sensational, even.
Hey, when you got too much of something, it becomes watered down, right? You know, those guys that just go in their bathroom or sit in their front seat of their car to cut a promo just to be talking and say they cut a promo. And I did a great job on my promo, just because your buddy said, hey, you did a good job calling. Hey, okay, yo, you look terrible. You know, all the guys that hey, I'm in the gym, and all you see them is with a selfie. Sitting in front of a weight bench, you know what I mean? But then you see them at a show and they don't look like you've been working out, you know what I mean? I haven't been in the gym. I've been through a little bit of things the last few months, so I just hadn't been in the gym a couple months. I noticed that in the last weekend, the last show, I threw my arms up and the muscles wasn't. You know, my thing is taking pictures with the kids. They love it. You get what I'm saying? And giving the big arms. You get what I'm saying? I threw my arms up and they wasn't as big as they were a few months ago, and I could tell. You know what I mean? Because but when I go in the gym, I don't take no pictures. I just do the workout and then
Let the
good
work
in the
speak
ring.
for itself.
Exactly that. I can carry the whole wrestling ring by myself if you let me, and they will let you too. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted.
They gonna let you.
They will let you. You know the one that taking them gym selfies, they can lift them plastic weights in Planet Fitness, but they can't lift that steel, the side rail of a pro wrestling ring.
They're the ones that's sitting there taking a selfie, putting the ring up, taking the ring down.
Exactly.
He's like, you reliving a nightmare right now, aren't you?
Oh man, it's funny to me.
And it's easier to pop yourself on camera open and cut a promo on your shampoo in the shower or something like that than it is to go in and put in the actual work. Everybody wants to get that pat on the back but not put in the actual work, so I can respect that.
I can too, and it's a nice change of pace to see someone who, instead of, oh, I'm at the gym, oh, I'm taking the ring down, picking it up, but just to do the work behind the scenes and then jump in the ring and show you that they've been doing the work. It's a great change of pace.
And I like that. I like that mentality too. I kind of hate social media. I'm on it, so my family can see pictures of my kids and different things happen in my life that aren't here in the area. We do a lot with trying to uplift the independent scene on our Swanton Pod Facebook page, but I hate the social media. People get on there to try to flex. With that stack of 20s that ain't but $150, and just for the clout. I mean, I absolutely hate that shit. That's not who people are in real life. So just get off of it. Stop trying to flex on everybody.
I don't carry any cash. I do everything electronically to control what I'm doing. Because if I carry cash, I'm gonna give it away anyway. You know what I mean? I already do so. I feel like I do so much for everybody and anybody who asks. Y'all, I can show you my messenger right now, how many people just hit me like, oh, with their story, you know what I mean? I don't want to just, people go through things. I go through things myself, you know what I mean? But, I feel like if they ask, the Bible say, if you don't ask, you don't receive, and anybody asks me, I'm gonna give it to them. You know, and I think that's what the things that people unlock about me is like, oh man, you get to know him, you can ask him, you know what I mean, and it's just that's just a whole nother other deal too.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see somebody though who was actually raised around here where we're from. He's from a little bit farther away, but same smaller town mentality.
Well,
actually, even smaller.
I don't think I made it to Winston-Salem until I was 16 and could drive.
Where you from?
Madison, Mayodan, a little town up on 220 on your way to Martinsville, Virginia. It's right on the border.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, North Carolina, Virginia.
Mm-hmm. North Carolina, Virginia. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about that big.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the last census it was like 70,000 people in the whole like county area or something. It's just very small. Yeah.
But it's very cool to see somebody who is making it, and I feel very confidently saying making it and going to be making it even more, doing big, great things from the small little town of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Winston-Salem small?
Compared to
Charlotte,
Dallas, Texas,
yeah.
Charlotte.
Okay, yeah. Compared to those places, I guess, yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to think, like, it still blows my mind, and I'll do a little name drop. Griff Garrison, it's crazy hearing on AEW and from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm like,
oh, okay, yeah. See, I never paid attention to that. You know what I mean? That he was from Winston-Salem. I heard it like on your Marcus Cross. He said he saved him in the bathroom.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, Griff was our first guest
ever
on the show. This
right.
This is when I was in a smaller townhouse. We didn't have any video set up. We had an old dining room table with the mic set up, and so he was gracious enough, and he was already signed to a contract. He was gracious enough to come on and tell his story, and we're hopefully we'll see him back sometime soon.
I knew Griff would do something like I knew he would end up on TV somewhere. He'll be in WWE's. WWE to me always been the holy grail of pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Vince came in and took over everything. AEW ain't nothing but 3 or 4 years old. But when I met him, it was right when I signed up. It was like they was telling you get out and go to the shows. You know what I mean? And I started. I never knew so much independent wrestling was going on in this area so much. You know what I mean? I feel sort of kind of stupid and lame for not knowing as much as I love pro wrestling. And as long as I've been watching it, you know what I mean? I never knew how much I miss from all these guys and all the legends that we see on TV. They live right here in North Carolina, and they cut their teeth right here in North Carolina. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. But when I went to the Firestar Pro Wrestling and seen Griff, he had the little crazy curly afro. You know what I mean? I had my afro then. You see, I got these beautiful locks. Then I always go through a phase where I cut and grow my hair out. I done did it 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? But every time, you know what I mean, you go through stages of hair growth. You know what I mean? And it looked crazy at one point. And I was heckling him, you know what I mean? Because that's the pro wrestling that I grew up on. You get what I'm saying? In the 90s, where they bum rush the ring with trash and everything else. They tell you suck, kill yourself. You get what I'm saying? Everything, just having fun before it got all sensitive and be like, no, you can't tell me that. My mental health won't take it. You know what I mean? But if you in entertainment and you entertaining, you know what I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to realize that as much of yourself can be in the character, you are playing a character, and it's not you that they're booing, it's not you that they're hating, it's the character that they're hating,
right?
And I have seen some guys that they can't really, and Ric Flair being a perfect example. There's no difference in the person Ric Flair is and the character Ric Flair anymore. Right. And some of the up and coming guys are even kind of like that, where they think their gimmick is protected. These kids today, they really believe in who they are. You know what I mean? And they really haven't experienced real life or real world things. You know what I mean? And that's why they take themselves very seriously like that, because they believe that they. I don't know.
that's a whole nother other deal. You know what I mean? I don't want to
shoot on anybody. I hear you.
yeah. Not necessarily shoot on anybody. I don't want to disrespect the business.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, and that's what's crazy to me too is if you are a heel and you are getting hated on, that means you're doing your job.
Yeah.
So take it as a compliment.
Yeah, that's just like, I'll pay AJ Frost a compliment here.
AJ's great.
Now that I went and shot on him as a heel, he's one of the best that I have seen either on TV or even independent. As soon as he comes out of the curtain, he has heat. It doesn't matter where he goes.
Unfortunately, I just wish he would get his lapdog Luke Fury under control.
And that's another thing. I think the officers just hit me up and said that he got his rematch coming up. That's if I'm still the champion, because I got a match against Atomics Extreme on March 11th.
March 11th. And where is that at?
That's going to be at the. Why you do me like that?
Is that the brewery show?
It is the brewery show. It's in Charlotte, right?
Right. Resident Culture Brewing Company.
See,
there
we brought it back to you.
Resident Culture Brewing Company, March 11th. I'm going against Atomics Extreme for my NAWA Television Championship. And Thomas is a very tough competitor. I think we're 1-1. He says we're 1-1. If that's the last thing we going back and forth about. But I think we're 2-0 because I'm a smart wrestler. I'm a situational wrestler. You get what I'm saying? The whole point is to pin your opponent. You know what I mean? Aggravate them enough to pin their shoulders to the mat. You know what I mean? Those guys, they gotta be able to. They want a highlight reel. You know what I mean? And we don't get paid by the hour, like you said already. You know what I mean?
That's one thing that we saw at that NAWA, not only in the Bunkhouse Stampede match, but also when you cashed in, your title shot there. You had already worked very smart in that Bunkhouse Stampede match. You were keeping your head down, letting the shots fly over you. You came
waiting for your spot.
They were still finding me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was trying to stay small. You know what I mean?
And you came in with this hobby horse, an unassuming looking weapon. It looks like a child's toy, but believe me, it weighs about 10 pounds, and it's solid wood down through the center. That's a baseball bat disguised as a horse.
Imagine if you 8 years old and you outside and somebody compete. Hey, give me your little horse. You know what I'm saying?
Beat that. Wow.
You turning it around on them.
Yeah.
Well, you brought it, and we were both surprised. I grabbed it first, and I was like, dude, this is an intense hobby horse. I made Matt Knight grab it, and he was like, wow, this is a real weapon. We're gonna be safe down here tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my little pistol back upstairs, put it in the top shelf of the closet where it belongs, and I'm gonna keep this bad boy down here for home protection. But I do want to talk about how you cashed in on AJ there. It seemed like there was a lot of psychology with that because you finished the match, and then it's like right there you were gassed. You knew you were gassed, and you said, "I'm going for it." He wasn't expecting it. They had to actually physically drag him back into the ring because he was just not expecting any of that. So you were already in his head by the time the bell rang.
Situational awareness. That's when I ran up to the top rope when I seen that he was, because I was kicking all the weapons out. You know what I mean? I don't want him to pick he a cheater. You get what I mean? He'll take any advantage that he can. Whether it be a weapon or even the clowns, Luke Fury and Doink or Dink or Squeak or whatever his
Squeaks.
name. Yeah, whatever, whoever, Nah, I'm just messing. I know Squeaks. They just mean guys, you know what I mean? And I don't know why Luke Fury is, you know what I mean? He could be great. And that's one thing I want to put a stipulation if I got to end up wrestling AJ Frost for the rematch. You want to put Luke Fury on the line. Yeah, he got great potential to be a great wrestler coming up in this industry if he get out of being a mean bad guy. For what you want to be bad for?
You're thinking something. I want to know what you're thinking.
I got an idea. Because if I'm not mistaken, we have already planned on being at the Charlotte March 11th show. Is that correct?
Are we talking a stipulation? Extra stipulation?
I'm talking a little stipulation here.
So AJ was on Rampage's Den about a week ago.
Shout out to Rampage's Den.
And AJ, like AJ does, was running his mouth, and he said that he was going, next time he sees me out, he's going to rip the mustache off of my face.
Oh wow!
So I'm thinking maybe a little bit of this. We got he puts up Luke Fury.
Luke Fury
Versus if he wins, he keeps Luke, and we shave our facial hair off, because this is my gimmick. I'm the guy with the mustache.
All of us.
You can put ours up. We know you got
to be that pretty sensational.
Right.
White.
I'm about to say I didn't shave the day for this because I'm tired of cutting on my face. Like I'm a master barber.
We'll put ours up.
I mean?
We'll put ours up versus Luke Fury.
I don't mind doing it if that, you know what I mean. If it generate the people come out to see it, to see it happen. AJ, if I have a chance to lose my
AJ seems to have such a problem with us and the way we look, so we'll put our facial hair on the line.
They cheat.
I want to go one step.
We're not above that either.
Time out.
Bell rings is all that matters.
I want to go one step above that. I say March 11th. Wait, March 11th is the one where
the Brewery in Charlotte. He's got his title match.
Wrestle Thomas Extreme.
Okay, so the one after that, I believe, is March 25th.
March 25th.
Yep. And where's the?
That's at the Morganton. That's in Morganton, North Carolina, at the Burke County Fairgrounds.
And are you already booked in a match for that show?
It would.
You don't have to say what it is, because I know that show's not out yet. But if you are booked, we'll talk about the next one.
I'll be there.
You'll be there. Okay, great.
Well, that's because AJ has his rematch clause that he can take advantage of.
Yeah, if I'm still the champion,
which you will be,
March 11th,
I believe in you.
March 25th, that'll be the AJ Frost. If I can get past Thomas Extreme, but like I say, he's the cardio king. You know what I mean?
We're talking Thomas Extreme, correct?
Thomas Extreme, cardio king.
I don't know that was he in the bunkhouse?
Nah, he wasn't.
I didn't think so.
The bunkhouse.
I don't think we've seen Thomas Extreme yet.
He's been at XWW.
Okay.
And doing it up big there. They got a big crowd, a big following, and he's been tearing it up. Thomas is a bad man. Like I
make you a little nervous.
Exactly. Yeah, I am there because I told you. I think he said we 1-1, so I know he's gonna go all out.
So this is the rubber match.
Exactly. He's not light work. You know what I mean? I know we don't look like big guys, but the guys like you ever watch a light heavyweight boxing bout or MMA fight? Those guys go the whole 12. How many ever rounds it is that they do,
and don't slow down. So it ain't like the heavier guys where you can win them and beat them. You got to actually put in work with guys like Thomas. Well, you know what? I think what's going to work in your favor is exactly what we've been talking about psychologically in the wrestling ring. I think you are one of the absolute best. So if you can't beat him cardio wise, I know you got something up here to take care of.
I'm a chess player.
Get him frustrated. Get him making mistakes.
That's how I got AJ. You know what I mean? Like we was like that's what we were talking about. They had to force him in the ring. That's what made me run up to the top rope. I was like, okay. I seen Big Nasty had him by the throat. You know what I mean? Throw him in. I was like, okay. Once he get up and see me, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be coming down on top of him. And they got the pictures. I about lost it up there. You know what I mean?
He took the picture
and went and was going the other way. You know what I mean? That I think somebody said that I grabbed onto it and caught myself.
Chinese lantern, right?
Yeah. It just disintegrated. You know what I mean? It was paper. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing to grab my. I weigh 200 pounds. You know what I mean? And it wasn't nothing to grab my weight to be able to bring me back forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going back and I get one of them arms pushed me forward and I went for it, and it was right as he turned around and they caught that cross body. And
so funny story about that. All night from George South saying the prayer right after the national anthem, this guy right here said one of these Chinese lanterns is going down, and at that point he said, I'm picking that one right there. That one, it was the one you pulled down.
The pictures that I've been seeing from all the angles and everything, as I'm coming down, it's coming down too. You know what I mean? And I think we both hit the ground at the same time. I guess that whole deal with gravity. You know what I mean?
I think you touched it and thought you had something, and then you kind of I don't know if it's psychologically you thought you had your balance, but then it was either you were going down or you were going for it, and you just went for it.
I think I just went for it.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful crossbody, though.
It was either going to be backwards or forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And backwards, I think
There wasn't nothing there.
everybody me and everybody probably in that front row would have had a bad night.
So I want to go back to this match that you have coming up for the rematch. I will say, no disrespect to Thomas Extreme, but I feel pretty confident with you. I have never seen him, so I can't really make a real match prediction.
Gotta check him out.
But
He probably been in it the 15 years. You know what I mean? Wrestling. Thomas. He runs the path of wrestling. Wrestling school. And he trained a few people. So.
Nice. Well, I'm just saying I have my belief in the sensational Dre White to retain.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean? You know, I try to have the confidence once I get to the ring and decide size him up when we actually get there and see each other. You know, we don't see each other until we get to these buildings, wherever the show is. You know what I mean? So. It ain't until I put my eyes on him whether I know how I'm gonna approach him.
Yeah, absolutely. So then on that next show, the March 25th show where AJ gets his rematch, I do want to visit that really quick because you made the comment that they like to cheat. I know Mr. Knight over here said we're not above that, but I think I might have an idea.
You think he needs to be sold an insurance policy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that I'm more than happy to put up our facial hair for the title for AJ, right? I think during the match, though, and obviously I'll talk to the promoter, I think that Luke Fury should be handcuffed to both of us. One handcuff on each side to where he can't interfere.
Oh, wow.
Are you down with that?
I think I've got the handcuffs. I just don't have the key.
See, but I want Luke Fury to be able to do him, Squeaks, and everybody else to be able to do whatever they want. So when I overcome all of them, you know what I mean, I'll be the undisputed television champion. You know what I mean? Overcome Luke, AJ, Squeaks, and even if their managers show up, you know what I mean?
King Enterprises.
Yeah, King Enterprises. But we could put the stipulation if y'all want if we're gonna put up our beautiful goatees because we all kind of match a little bit. You know what I mean? I want Luke Fury on the line. I want Luke Fury. I'll take Luke Fury's services. They always want to put me in a tag team match somewhere. You know what I mean? Luke Fury be my tag partner from now on. You know, he a great kid, great prospect. You know what I mean? Like he gonna go far as he grow and hit a couple more growth spurts. You know what I mean? As far as life in his body and everything, I want him to be on my side. I want him to be a good guy. I want him to let all that hair he got down, and you get what I'm saying, smile. Let's take some pictures and shake some hands,
for the kids,
kiss some babies. Yeah,
learn the right way to do the business, not how he's cutting corners right now.
Exactly. Don't let everybody hate you right in the beginning. You know what I mean?
I can see it now. White Fury.
Oh.
There you go.
White Fury.
It feels right though, doesn't it?
That's a hell of a name. They might even have to name an event after you.
That'll get it over. That'll put some money in my pocket. Let's go with it.
I know that's right. So,
put it on the marquee right now.
Right
I think you just laid the gauntlet down. So for March 25th in the AJ Frost Sensational Dre White rematch for the NAWA Beautiful Television title. If Dre White wins, he is now has Luke Fury and all of his services. If AJ Frost wins, which will never happen, we will shave the beard. So I think that's a fair stipulation.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, we might have to do a couple episodes audio only until it grows back. But, I
want to teach Luke how to be a hero instead of that zero that he hanging out with. You know what I mean? Do it for good, Luke.
Yeah, I know that AJ Frost bills himself as too cold to hold, yeah. But I think Mr. Dre White is going to be too hot to handle.
Oh, yeah. Dig it.
I think I'm going to have to agree with that.
Yeah.
So I want to jump back in, just kind of push back to, you are the OG of AML. Well, the training school, at least.
Training school, yeah, exactly.
The real OG of AML is Georgia South, and we all know that, and nobody's ever going to be able to take that title. But now you're doing, we saw you at the last AML show, the Acts of War Games. And in fact, we both looked at each other and we were like, is it?
We just saw him.
Because you were Mr. Dapper himself, all cleaned up, beautiful suit, had the hair pulled back. It was beautiful.
Sensational, baby.
Absolutely. So, from my understanding, just from our conversations, you're doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, like you said that George said, to figure out everything in the the business.
I've been paying my dues from day one. You know what I mean? With AML wrestling, you know, my calendar, they're definitely on it. You know what I mean? And it's not to be an in-ring talent, but whatever they need, whatever the
call is.
Exactly. Until they call my shot. You know what I mean? I recently got to participate in the Scott Elam Battle Memorial Rumble at WrestleCade. You know what I mean? I ran into freaking the Extreme Horsemen as soon as I stepped through the ring because when I got in there, I didn't see nobody but those two. The two biggest dudes that stepped up. And the first thing he said, "Now what are you gonna do, young boy?" And I said, "Whatever I can." "What you gonna do?" He was like, "This right here." Kicked me in the stomach, power drive me. Never been power drive before. The most painful stuff I ever felt in my life. Then the next thing I know, I was on. I don't know if you ever seen those camera tricks in the cartoons where they roll the camera after somebody done been flipped, but that's how it was for me. You know what I mean?
Felt like you were in a spin cycle or something.
I was feeling it to see if my head and neck was still attached after taking the pile driver from PQ, and next thing I know, I'm head over heels over the top rope.
That
was my WrestleCade.
As great as AML already is, hopefully we're going to help y'all make that a little bit better, and you're going to be seeing us at more shows. Hopefully we'll be running into each other and rubbing some elbows. Because do you want to make the announcement since you're the one who kind of got it in the works?
So I spoke with Tracy and Brian, which are both co-owners. They're awesome people.
Great guys. I love them.
Yeah, top to bottom. I mean, just very, very down to earth, amazing guys. It's crazy because they really do run such a large independent, which I don't even like to say that because of how large some of the stars and how much the homegrown talent that they've had has grown through the years.
Not to mention that the production value that they put on, the facilities that they have and put on their shows at is TV top tier level.
Right. And now fully streaming on the Title Match Network. So that's really cool.
Pay-per-view, every show now.
Yeah. So we actually were in talks with Tracy and Brian, and we are now official sponsors of the Swanton Pod as official sponsors of AML. I actually dropped off the form with Tracy today, and within the next 24 to 48 hours, once everything clears and the paperwork clears, there will be a major announcement on Facebook. So that's super exciting.
And hopefully by the time your episode comes out, I will be able to superimpose a sponsored by AML or AML official sponsor logo here on the screen somewhere, or we'll figure that out.
Well, congratulations.
So you're stuck with us now.
And then you don't have to get a phone call from me.
So now I know that you said you've done all this and that backstage opposed to just in the ring. Now, on that side of it, what is, besides the in-ring work, which obviously you're great at, what is like your next favorite thing to do? Is it like production? Is it what is it
in
that's
wrestling?
like, oh yeah.
Man, I love the ring itself. You know what I mean? That's what draws the people in. You get more people that when I met AML, like you say, AML is that big TV production. That's the closest most people get or know outside of WWE. You know what I mean? That see the stars, the lights, and you know what I mean, the pageantry of it is AML, and they just want to be a picture with the ring, get close to the ring. And I'm always there doing something, and that's what they. Hey, you think you can let me get a picture with the ring? Hey, come on, you know, get your picture. You know, that's what they want. That's what they pay their money to see. Unless it was somebody specifically that they like, you know what I mean, that was going to be on the card that night wrestling. Usually it's George South, but
so you just really enjoy putting the ring together.
I mean, I just love pro wrestling. Period. And the ring is the only way to get the wrestlers in the building. You need a ring.
So I think that's the first person that we've interviewed that has said that they enjoy putting the actual ring together.
know,
So that's really cool to me.
I think I vibe with that. I like working with my hands. I was a mechanic when I was in the military, not for the money by any means, but just because I like to work with my hands. I think if I was on that side of it, I'd probably be right there beside of you, putting that ring up and taking it down every night.
Well, it's your stage, you know what I mean? That's what gonna bring in your people, your audience, you know, comedians, and they take a big part of it, and even performers, rappers, from my experience, they take the good ones anyway, take a lot of pride in
Like the setup.
personal input into the stage.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, and that's what the ring is. It's just my stage, or a stage to bring in the talent that I like or want to see.
Go ahead. I'm
So,
sorry.
do you think one day when you're on WWE TV that you're going to be the guy that gets there early? You're going to have a title over your shoulder, and you're still going to put the ring up?
Man, look, I'm telling you, George is my mentor, and he'll sleep in the building. You know what I mean? So the Wrestle K weekend, we start on that Wednesday with the setup. I think George got a little cot somewhere in the Benton Convention Center, in one of those rooms. You know what I mean? That they're not using that night, or in a back hallway, you know, because he won't leave until the rings are out on the last night. So I'm gonna be like that with the WWE. They got everything you need, you know what I mean. As far as I feel like what the company that they run, you know what I mean. If they got it set up for people to be around for 24/7 to make things happen.
So I'm just very, very curious. If you had a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan, and a 10-year plan, what does that look like for the Sensational Dre White?
I take it one step at a time. They say the journey is the key. So I'm on that journey right now, trying to find, you know, what's gonna take me to the excuse me, that's gonna take me to the next step, you know. And like I say, is W is the end all for me. AEW hadn't been around. It ain't been a dream of mine to go work for AEW. Not put them down. I would love to, if given the opportunity. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that has and that's on it right now. I don't get to see it much because of my work schedule, like I say. Right. And WWE is always my aspiration and dream, would always be able to work for Vince McMahon, and another mogul too that was in reality TV and had TV shows and firing people and all that. You know what I mean? Before everybody hated it. You know what I mean? And I just like the people who was in that show business type deal. You know what I mean? And
so does that make you a Miz fan?
Miz. It took me a while to respect the Miz, because I feel like the time that I've been trying, like I told you, I've been done. I sent you my little bio, the things that I've done. It was right around the same time he was doing his in Hollywood, and I'm trying to do it in the Hollywood of the South, which is Wilmington and all that. And in this area, I felt like I could break from home, you know what I mean, and without having to fly across the country, you know what I mean, because I have a child as well. So it was right around that time that, you know, I didn't want to leave my son and anything like that. So I was just trying to do it from home. So, but I respect him and how he became what he's become from being a WWE fan. You get what I mean? A reality TV star in the real world. I was, you know, right, probably shouldn't been at home watching TV. I probably should have been pursuing it more to be on TV instead of, I get it now, you know what I mean?
Makes sense now.
Yeah, necessarily then, you know what I mean? But I can respect his career. Like they really let Miz, I don't think nobody will be able to do the things that Miz has done, you know what I mean? That's why I feel like they let Roman Reigns run with that the titles as long as he has, because Miz is like a 2-time grand champion, right? You know, he held all the titles twice in his career. You know what I mean?
Just crazy.
It's crazy. You know,
a reality star.
Exactly, and I didn't like the Miz in the real world because at the time, I was young. So, when you watching the show, you choose the I like this person, like that person. The girl that he kept upsetting, the girl Cora on the show, you get what I'm like? Yeah. Hey man, why you keep messing with her, man, with that dumb wrestling stuff that you doing? Like, you lame with it, you know what I mean? And he grew and he evolved and got to do all the diva searches and married to Maurice, you know what I mean? Maurice, she's
a baddie.
Bad, man. Even now, as a mother of 2 kids, you give them
I think she's better looking now than she was when he first met him.
Well, and that's one thing that he has in common with the Miz is both of them married way out of their league.
Right.
Way out of their league. Shout out to wifey.
I pray I can marry out of my league, you know what I mean? What Tully used to say, I'm looking for my perfect 10, you know what I mean? Send in your pictures.
So, hey, if you see him out at the shows and you are a perfect 10, come shout out the sensational Dre White.
I don't know. I do a lot of backwood shows, so
I don't
ain't no perfect 10s out there. Unless Baby Doll comes. And Baby Doll, she comes to a few events that I met sometimes. So,
and not to put down reality TV, but this kind of goes hand in hand with it. If there at one point in the early 2000s, the wildest thing happened where 30 women were competing for the love
Flavor
Flav,
exactly.
then I feel like you could at least get 10 to compete for the sensational Dre White.
I wish.
I'd say 15 even, because no homo. You were Flavor Flav. Let's be honest. You're about 100 times better looking than Flavor.
I don't know.
His bank account may be a little bit prettier, but
that's what make all the difference. You know what I mean? The money. You know what I mean? You got to be able to financially support everything they want to do. You know what I mean?
The zeros don't mean nothing until they go in the bank account, right?
Exactly.
Fair.
Drake would look like Flavor Flav to them if he didn't have his wallet. You know what I mean?
Fair. That's definitely a fair statement.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned this, and this is actually something I didn't know. So you have a son, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So has he? I'm assuming he's been able to see you wrestle. Is that correct?
Yes, he has.
So what was that like? Like the first time that he came, and did you know he was coming, or was it like you walked out to the ring for your match?
As a matter of fact,
oh
though,
my god.
I think it's been like right in the beginning, you know what I mean? When I'm losing, you know what I mean? Probably what he saw. So, and then I'm not one of the guys like he's been to a whole lot of the shows with me and to see and he follows wrestling because I see it on his Instagram and everything. He share a whole lot of the guys that I've passed who's passed me, you know what I mean, and made it to the AEW Dark or a SmackDown taping, you know what I mean. He see that and like, well, Daddy, why you ain't did that? You know what I mean? Like so it's just it'll get there, you know.
Well, and here's my opinion on that. And it's kind of if you guys listen to the Marcus Cross episode. I like to equate it to that because, his tag team partner, Griff, he made it to AEW, and Marcus is still doing the darks and everything. It's not a knock at all on Marcus. It was all timing of his injury.
Right.
So, Griff got the call. Marcus was either still injured or coming back from injury. And now as he's starting to get better, he's the PWF champ, he's starting to get more of those calls. I think that I would feel pretty confident in saying that ankle injury, even though you busted your ass and came back very quickly, it was just kind of horrible timing. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, bad timing because when you first come in, you're like a shiny new toy. You get what I mean?
Right,
Everybody want to see what you're about and what you can do. You know what I mean? And when I came in, everybody with the kids now, they got a little bit more stamina, a little bit more energy, a little bit more bounce. You get what I mean? They are doing they flipping out the arena and everything because their body can take it right now. Their knees still got buoyancy, you know what I mean? And with me, I was taking it slow until I really learned and figured out what, how to do this, and know
be
what I mean,
safe.
and be safe and survive in it. You get what I mean? Like, longevity. I want to be able to. You hear the stories and read the books. They talk about doing this every night. You get what I mean? Not once a week. You know what I mean? They think just because you see Raw or SmackDown that those guys just did those two shows. No, they did Raw tonight, and they're gonna do a house show tomorrow night. They're gonna do another show to the next night after that. They're gonna do SmackDown after that. You might not have seen them on TV. They might not have aired that, but those guys worked the match. They're probably two different cities at one time too. You know what I mean?
There's travel plus all the matches.
Exactly. So I want to be able to do it every night if need be.
So, being that this is going to be released everywhere on the internet, on YouTube, do you want to give your son a shout out on the air here?
Oh yeah, shout out to Baby Dre is what I call him. He probably don't like it now because he's a grown man now, and so shout out to Baby Dre.
Shout out.
I want him to wrestle so he older than Luke Fury. You know what I mean? So he could take care of my light work.
There you go.
I got a kid bullying me.
Okay. Be careful, Luke Fury. Baby Dre coming for you.
So we're coming up on the hour mark right now. We appreciate your time. Do you have anything you want to ask before I ask my kind of final question in the show to see how we're going to end this thing up?
I really don't have any questions. I do just want to extend a heartfelt thank you for coming on to the Swanton Pod. We have thoroughly enjoyed this. We actually had a reschedule. We had already been talking about, having you in once we figured out you were 8 minutes down the road.
Right.
And we actually had a reschedule tonight, which I am thoroughly happy and surprised that how much I feel like I've known you for 10 years now.
Oh,
so
man.
that's been really cool. And I can't wait to see how much more you have.
I told you can hit the road with me. I ride by myself. You know what I mean? I could always use a guy, a witness. You know what I mean? To show where Dre Whitey would just say, hey, man, those people, they all loved you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
We might take you up on that coming to some of the NAWA shows because we're planning on riding out there and
oh, yeah.
And vice versa. If you need a ride, you holler at us because we're going to be going to them too. So, hey, we can all split that gas instead of putting it all into the tank by ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I've been doing it on. It's just another day for me. You know what I mean? You want to get in the car? Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't do all that.
All right. So one question I like to ask everybody when we finish up these episodes is, who is the real Dre White?
What does that mean?
Who's the real you? I feel like I've gotten a lot.
I've been sitting here for the past hour with y'all. I thought this was the real me. I told my man I was going to show up, you know what I mean, and be sensational. But see, I ain't yelled at nobody or none of that. You know what I mean? I just been on chill mode. That's Dre White right there.
Okay.
I'm chilling. You want to play a game of chess? You play chess? I play chess.
I don't play chess. I only know checkers. You playing chess? I'm playing checkers. That's all.
Nah. See, I'm a chess player. I beat you real quick.
I could see that. So what he means by that is if obviously we want you guys to all go check out any and all footage that you can find on Dre White, but
it's something out there. It ain't all good, but it's something out there. It's something that you can, you might laugh at me, but you gonna look at it.
Absolutely. Well, so we've gotten to really know Dre White as the wrestler, as the backstage hand, as even the person. But if somebody didn't watch this full interview and they asked you, who is Dre White, how would you explain yourself?
Man, I'm the jack of all trades, master of none, you know what I mean? But oftentimes better than the master of one. That means that I'm sensational, baby. I can do it. I do it all, and I look good doing it, feel good doing it, and I'm going to do it at 100%. I'm going to do it big, even if it's small, I'm going to do it big.
I love that.
You heard it right here on the Swanton Pod. From the time that the ring comes out of the truck to the time that the door closes.
I'm on it. 90% is me doing all the work. Like my man, I sent him my quick bio. I thought he was gonna take a little bit of the highlight. Cause what did you send me? Like the guy was on AEW, he was on SmackDown. You know, I haven't done any of that yet. You know what I mean? I'm trying. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get myself in position to do that, to be there, to be. Success is when preparations meet opportunity. You know what I mean? And I'm just preparing myself. You know what I mean? This is my second podcast. You know, I'm preparing myself for any more that come about. You know what I mean? That I be able to handle and be able to carry myself the correct way. You know what I mean?
So the real question is this your favorite podcast?
Of course, it's my favorite. Swanton Pod, the new supporter partners of AML Wrestling. Of course, man. I love you guys.
Let's go.
You know, this is a special episode being brought to you by Busch Bavarian. If you're gonna drink anything, drink Busch Bavarian.
I hope we get a sponsor out of that.
You know,
that's my man Jackie Moon from
Semi-pro?
Semi-pro.
Yeah, okay.
he kept saying that. I just always wanted to do that.
Busch Bavarian, and then you've got my favorite fake plug of all time, Big Red. If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you.
from Talladega Nights.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still a Will Ferrell deal, right?
Yep. One of the greatest freestylers ever, dude.
Exactly.
Hey, but seriously, man, thank you so much for coming on.
Man,
I definitely want to have you back on.
Thank you.
In about 5-6 months, when that SmackDown does call you, that Raw does call you, AEW Dark calls you, AEW TV calls you.
Put it out there 5 or 6 months. Yeah, let's do it like that.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to quit everything I'm doing right now, and I'm gone.
There you go.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. The best podcast that the sensational Dre White has ever been on. Thanks for listening once again to Swanton Pod. And remember, pro wrestling is for everybody.
March 11th, Resident Culture Brewery. Me and Thomas Extreme. I got a few things in between there, but that's what y'all want to see right there. The defense of that television title, because I need to be on TV.
There you go.
Bada boom, realest guy in the room. How you doing?
How you doing? Be there, be square.
Do it.
Upside Beats. Swanton Pod, best podcast. Yo, Swanton Pod, busting off like a Swanton bomb. Roadhouse in the dad bod night. On the train and about to take flight. Got the news on 18 mil. In the future stars of that wrestling. We'll tune into that greatness so you can learn a couple lessons. I'm about to tank, just like a shark. This the podcast, for smart marks. No, they ain't bread, but they got heart. All of these stars, where do I start? Come with aggression. Swanton Pop for your wrestling. Dalton and Madam Monsters. Shout outs to all of our sponsors. Hey.